Our DOV journey goal is to monitor our experience along the journey. We took into account morale, incline, and our heart rates every 30 minutes. To prepare for our journey goal, we made data collection sheets and we also purchased hiking poles so that we had a minimum of 3 pairs, which was half the group. We also decided to measure performance based on 3 main factors: morale, rated 1 out of 10, heart rate, and incline. We measured 3 things along our journey: incline, BPM, and morale. We measured incline using a kilometer, which required one person to go to the steepest part of the incline, one person to stay at the bottom, and then take an angle. We recorded this so we could sample it and see how it would affect our morale and BPM going up the incline and how it varies between people who use hiking poles and people who don't. We measured BPM by putting 2 fingers to our neck for 30 seconds and counting our heart rate and doubling it. This was to find our beats per minute. We measured our morale every 30 minutes and filled in a questionnaire, which is shown above.
These graphs show that the people with hiking poles, in blue, have a lower BPM rate than the people without hiking poles, in red, across both days. Interestingly, BPM rate was much higher on the first day. This could be because we were still getting used to the hiking journey and needed some time to get used to the conditions. On day 2, BPM was much lower than the previous day, which may be because the weather conditions were much worse on this day. Alright, Albert, what's your morale out of 10? 6. Cool, were you using the hiking poles or no? Leo, what's your morale out of 10? 6. Alright, then we'll leave Leo alone because he wants to go to bed.
What's your morale?
6.
What's your morale?
7, I guess.
Harry, what's your morale?
Don't film me, I look so bad.
Okay, 6?
5.
Okay. Karima, morale? Mya, morale?
Oh, 8.
Pretty windy.
Guys, it's very windy here. First day. We're ready.
Second day, isn't it?
Sorry?
Second day, not first.
Second day, I'm being dumb. I have hiking poles, Francis doesn't. We'll see what happens today and how our BPM is different to each other and for the rest of the group.
What we learned by comparing days 1 and 2. We found out we needed to have the poles swapped around to properly gauge how much hiking poles have affected our heart rate and morale throughout the group. We did this by halving the group. One half uses hiking poles one day and the other uses it the next day. We also learned that heart rates tended to be lower on average on the day of which we had the hiking poles. Morale tended to be higher on the day which the person had hiking. This may have been an unfair comparison due to the poor weather conditions on the second day. However, as our morales were lower, it averaged out.
Day 2 was much more challenging as we upheld the sandstone for the majority of the night and the whole of the walk. We were also running off low amounts of energy as the whole group did not sleep that night. Most of our group opted out on eating as it wasn't the best weather conditions, which also decreased our morale, which after the walk, we could see that there was a significant difference between how we felt on day 1 and day 2. Although ironically, the weather conditions made us work much harder and finish the walk quicker. On day 2, most of the walk was dunes. As we were calculating our BPM every 30 minutes and 60 seconds, we could see that the difficulty of the walk became more prominent with our BPM increase.
Beginning of day 1, we were all running on excitement and energy as we had been sitting on a school bus for over an hour. The morale was highest when we started, mostly because we were walking on a rocky trail. However, when we reached the sand dunes, it declined drastically, with the weight of our bags filled with food making us sink into the sand faster. The people with walking poles had lower heart rates and were able to keep a fast pace, but their arms tired quickly. With the raging heat and the warm water, our morale decreased steadily as the day.
In conclusion, we have found out that people with hiking poles have a lower BPM than people who don't, and have an easier experience when dealing with steep inclines than people who don't have hiking poles. Having hiking poles also corresponded with morale, as people who had hiking poles had higher morale on average along the journey.